They once taught you that if you wanted love, you had to prove it. So you started running. You texted first. You planned the dates. You gave more than you received. And you believed that one day she would choose you. But the more you gave, the more you saw her slipping away. You became kinder, more consistent, even the best version of yourself. Yet, in her eyes, you became too easy, too predictable, too available. Have you ever been in this situation? You pour your heart into a long, sincere message, and all you get back is a single K. Here's the brutal truth. What is gained too easily is rarely deeply valued. Machiavelli didn't write about love. He wrote about power, but his words echo in the silent tragedy of men who chase too much. It is far safer to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Fear here doesn't mean violence. It means presence, the kind that makes others stop, think, and feel your gravity even before you speak. Remember Muhammad Ali. He never begged the crowd to love him. He simply stood in the ring with absolute confidence, and the world was forced to acknowledge him. Do you see? When you trade leadership for begging, you lose gravity. When you orbit around her instead of building your own world, you turn yourself into a faint satellite. Women are not drawn to desperation. They are drawn to gravity, to silence, to discipline, to the man who can look her straight in the eyes and say, "I want you here, but I will never need you to complete me." This is not a game. This is transformation. A shift from chasing to attracting, from proving to embodying, from asking to be chosen to making her choose on her own. And from the moment you stop running, you'll begin to see clearly. Not only does she see you differently, but you will see yourself differently. Rule 1. Build value. Make her chase. Every man knows this feeling. You meet a woman who makes your heart race. You give everything. Kindness, presence, effort. But instead of responding, she grows colder. You start doubting yourself. Am I not good enough? Am I not romantic enough? Or maybe, I'm not worthy at all? The truth is no. It's not that you gave the wrong things. It's that you gave them too soon, too easily. And that easiness kills attraction. Machiavelli once wrote, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. For everyone can see, but few can touch. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few really know what you are." And what did you show her? That you were too available. In a world where her phone is flooded with messages every single day, what makes her stop? It's not 24/7 presence. It's scarcity, calculated absence. A presence heavy enough to be impossible to ignore. How many times have you texted back instantly, rearranged your schedule just for a nod of approval? And afterward, how small did you feel? The attractive man is not the cold one. He is the one who doesn't lose his own world just to enter hers. He's busy building. He walks his own path. He still cares, but he doesn't beg. Picture two men. One waits for every text, forgives every cancelled plan, always puts her above himself. The other? He doesn't play fake silent games, but he has goals, rhythm, a fullness in his life that makes her want to step into it. The question for you: which man are you living as? Women don't chase availability. They chase rarity. Not because he abandons her, but because he lives fully in his mission. Machiavelli once warned, "A prince who is always visible loses the art of influence." In love, this means, let her feel your absence, not to punish her, but so she understands your presence has value. Micro-challenge for you. For the next 24 hours, stop replying instantly to messages. Let your life speak for you. Let her wonder, what is he doing? Why haven't I heard from him? In that space, curiosity is born. And in curiosity, desire grows. You don't need to retreat from love. You only need to invest wisely. In your body, your mind, your mission. And when you appear complete, not needy, not half empty. Look at yourself. If she had to earn the right to your time, would she even qualify? This is the paradox of attraction. When you stop chasing, she starts moving toward you. When you stop proving, she starts searching for ways to prove her own worth. The man who builds himself first, for himself, never has to beg for love. He simply stands firm, and the right woman will choose to follow. Rule 2. Keep mystery. Never let her read you completely. There is one thing that kills attraction faster than rejection. Not no, not betrayal, but indifference. And indifference begins the moment she believes she has fully figured you out. When there's nothing left to discover, the heart loses its reason to desire. Have you ever read a novel where you guessed the ending within the first few pages? Did you still want to keep turning the pages? In every story that captivates people, there's always one element that keeps them hooked: mystery. It's the tension between what is revealed and what remains hidden that sparks curiosity and makes the heart beat faster. But most men destroy their own mystery. The moment they meet a woman, they want to prove their sincerity. They spill everything: their dreams, their pain, their scars, even their most private secrets, all within just a few conversations. They call it being honest. But in reality, they just handed her the final chapter of the book before the story even began. Machiavelli once said, "A man who reveals all his intentions becomes predictable, and the predictable are easy to defeat." In love, predictability means the death of attraction. Reflect on yourself. When was the last time you sent a detailed account of everything you did in your day just to reassure her? And afterward, did you feel like an open diary, easy to read, easy to discard? The magnetic man is not the cold one. He is the one with balance. He still shares, but never all at once. He leaves room for her imagination. He makes her leave the conversation with a question mark, not a period. Remember Napoleon. He never revealed his full strategy, not even to his closest generals. That unpredictability made him a master. In relationships, unpredictability is also a weapon. Not to deceive, but to maintain gravity. So the question is, are you sharing to truly connect? Or because you fear that if you don't, she will leave? The difference is this: fear drains you. Silence strengthens you. Micro challenge for you. This week, hold back 10% of what you plan to share. Don't text every detail. Don't explain every emotion. Let your actions and the weight of your silence speak for you. You'll be surprised within that space. Curiosity is born. And in curiosity, desire begins to grow. So ask yourself, when was the last time a woman texted you first just to ask, "What are you thinking?" The mysterious man is not distant. He is simply a treasure with many layers to unfold. Each layer given is a reward, and what is conquered gradually is what gets truly valued. Rule 3. Stay calm, take control. There's a strange magnetism in a man who is not rushed, not explosive, not desperate to explain himself. He observes, he breathes slowly, he holds his gaze steady while everything around him falls into chaos. It is that calmness that makes him unforgettable. Machiavelli once warned, "He who cannot master his emotions will soon be mastered by others." This is not only true for a throne, it's true in love. Women do not test you to humiliate you. They test you to know what you are made of. They want to see, can you stay calm when she goes silent? Can you keep your dignity when teased? Can you stand tall when your pride is challenged? If you cannot hold yourself, you cannot be a pillar. Think back. The last time she replied late, how many extra texts did you send? The last time she ignored you for hours, how many scenarios did you create in your head? Every time you react like that, you don't just torture yourself, you silently admit, I exist only through your reaction. And attraction dies right there. The calm man is not calm because he feels nothing. He is calm because he has mastered himself. He feels anger, jealousy, fear of loss, but he does not let them dictate his actions. Think of Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor. In the midst of war, he still wrote in his journal, "When anger rises, remember it will fade like foam on the sea." That restraint earned him respect not only as an emperor, but as a philosopher. Or Steve Jobs. When employees panicked after a product failed, he didn't scream. He simply said, "We'll do it again. Better." That calmness fueled his entire team. Do you see? Calmness doesn't make you weak. It makes you the anchor, not reset hook. So here's the question. If tomorrow she suddenly goes silent, what will you do? Will you panic, or will you sit down, take a deep breath, and let silence reveal your value? Micro challenge. For the next 24 hours, when something upsets you, pause for 3 seconds before reacting. Those 3 seconds can be the difference between being a man ruled by emotions and a man respected by the entire room. Because in a noisy world where everyone rushes, the one who dares to pause is the one who truly holds power. Reflect on yourself. When was the last time you stayed calm in a tense situation instead of losing control? And how did that make others see you differently? A man who masters himself has no need to control others. He doesn't need to shout to prove strength. He commands respect through silence alone. Rule 4. Know your limits. Demand respect. You can be loved, but without respect, that love will eventually turn to ashes. Many men do the opposite. They crave love so much that they trade away every piece of their own respect. She replies hours late, you say, "It's fine." She cancels plans at the last minute, you instantly rearrange. She jokes about something you hold sacred, you smile and let it slide. You think it's noble. But in truth, it's self-erasure. Machiavelli once said, "If you do not command respect, you invite betrayal." Betrayal doesn't always arrive in one dramatic moment. Sometimes it creeps in, silently. You lose your boundaries, your voice, your core. Ask yourself, how many times have you stayed silent to keep the peace, only to sit alone afterward, feeling smaller? The man without boundaries doesn't build love. He builds a habit for others to walk over him. The man with boundaries is different. He doesn't need to shout. He doesn't need to rage. He simply says, "That's not okay with me," with a calm tone, with steady eyes. Remember the Spartans. They didn't need long speeches, just molon labe, come and take it, when enemies demanded their weapons. A boundary clear and unshakable. Or Winston Churchill in World War II. He didn't yield to Hitler just to keep temporary peace. He said, "You were given the choice between war and dishonor. You chose dishonor, and you will have war." Boundaries are what protect existence. Reset hook. So what about you? Do you have lines that cannot be crossed? Or are you letting others test you again and again just to see if you'll stand your ground? Micro challenge. This week, write down 3 things you will never compromise, even to keep a relationship. And when someone crosses them, say once, "That's not okay with me." No shouting, no fighting, just clarity. Now picture 2 men. One always says, "It's fine," even when hurt inside. The other still loves, but knows how to say no when needed. Who do you think is respected in the long run? The cold truth is this. A woman might stay with you for comfort, but she will only respect you when she sees you hold the line. Reflect on yourself. When was the last time you said no calmly, and how did people look at you differently afterward? A man who knows his limits doesn't need to chase being liked. He has respect. And from respect, true love can take root. Rule 5. Protect your freedom. Live sovereign. Protect your freedom. Live sovereign. The tragedy of many men doesn't begin with chains. It begins with love. At first, you had fire, you had goals, habits, ideals. But then, to keep a woman, you started to give them up. One workout cancelled, one dream postponed, one fire in your eyes slowly dimmed. You told yourself, this is sacrifice, this is love. But in truth, it was surrender. Machiavelli once wrote, if a prince does not rule his own territory, someone else will. Your territory is your freedom, your mission, your discipline, the path you are building. When you abandon it, you don't just lose your dreams, you lose your magnetism. Because the very light from passion and purpose was what drew her to you in the first place. Remember Alexander the Great. He loved, but love never outweighed his hunger to conquer. It was because he walked his own path that his legacy still echoes thousands of years later. Or Elon Musk, relationships came and went, but his name is tied to SpaceX, to Tesla, not to fleeting romances. It is his mission that made him impossible to ignore. Reset hook. And what about you? How many times have you shelved your goals just to please someone? And what you got in return, was it really love or just dull familiarity? Here's the cold truth. No woman truly wants to be your entire universe. She wants to step into the world of a man who already has his own orbit. If you revolve around her, you turn yourself into a satellite. Small, replaceable. The sovereign man is not careless. He still loves, still cares, but he never sells his freedom in exchange for acceptance. Real love never asks you to abandon your path. Micro challenge. Dedicate the next day solely to yourself. Train, learn, work for your dream. And when someone asks, why didn't you spend the day with me? Answer calmly, because this path matters to me. If you walk with me, I'll be glad, but I will not abandon it. Do you see? It is this steadfastness that creates gravity. She may not say it, but inside, she respects you. Because you are not a follower, you are a leader. Reflect on yourself. If tomorrow you had to choose, lose your dream or lose a relationship, what would you choose? That answer decides whether you are a servant or a sovereign man. The sovereign man doesn't need to shout. He simply keeps building, keeps walking. And love, if it is real, will walk beside him, never demand that he turn away. And if a woman leaves because you refuse to abandon yourself, let her go. Because true love will never ask you to shrink into something smaller than who you are. The man commands, he never chases. By now, you see it clearly. True magnetism does not come from the frantic footsteps of pursuit. It is born the moment you stop, stand firm, and let the world revolve around your presence. You no longer try to prove. You no longer need to ask permission. You simply become. The man who commands is not a tyrant. He doesn't need to shout. He doesn't need to control others. He only controls himself, and that stillness forces others to pay attention. Machiavelli once said, true power is not granted. It is held firmly through discipline. In love, this means you do not beg for affection. You live by your standards. Whoever cannot walk alongside that strength will walk away. Think back. When was the last time you chose silence instead of explaining yourself, and that silence alone made others rethink themselves? That is power. Not noise, but clarity. Not wearing a mask, but holding your essence. What you've learned is not tricks. It is transformation. The man builds value. He never begs for attention. The man keeps mystery. He never becomes ordinary. The man masters his emotions. He lets no one control him. The man sets limits. He never loses respect. The man protects freedom. He never turns into a servant. Reset hook. So the final question, will you continue living as a man chasing validation, or will you rise as a man sitting on the throne of his own life, forcing the world to decide if it is strong enough to walk beside you? Micro challenge. Starting today, try one thing. Stop asking, how do I make her choose me? Instead ask, am I living as the man she would have no choice but to choose? The man who commands never begs for love. He makes love if it is real. Seek him, crave him, honor him. And if someone cannot accept that gravity, let them go, because you know the truth. Your value is not measured by how many stay. Your value lies in the one thing you never lose: yourself.